Alright, so let's get right to it. You already know who I am. I'm going to be dropping today a video about my tier list when it comes to the aisle and be talking about the main three predators that I think it should always be in direct competition with one another. So for starters, you have the Carno. The Carno is a legendary predator, has been around for a very long time. And to be honest, I like its playstyle. I like the fact that it has its overwhelming speed, amazing stamina. I feel like its damage is fair. I feel like the bleed damage it does is fair. Honestly, everything about it seems to be decent, but of course it has its trade-offs just like all the other predators. It has the worst turn of any sprinting predator. It has one of the worst stamina regenerations of any predator as well. So of course you got to be careful when you do start getting low on stam as a Carno. And these trade-offs though don't make the creature bad. In fact, I would say that this makes the creature more of a better playable animal, because that you just can't do everything, that you're not invincible, you're not bulletproof, that you actually do have to play smart in how you're going to attack certain things and how you're going to avoid other things. And that's why I like the Carno. It reminds me very similarly to a cheetah, where it has to go in and kill something very quickly, and if it lets the fight drag on too long, it runs the risk of dying itself. It's predator and prey at the same time. So I find that to be really interesting when it comes to the Carno, and that's why in my books, I would say that in terms of playability, like how easy it is to play, I would say I would give it a B- in terms of playability, and I would say that in terms of fun though, that it's a B+. So it's a good creature overall, and something that I think everybody should at least try once. It's a predator that is a classic, and I just love everything about it, to be honest. The Aloe is a very well-rounded creature. It would be what I would consider a generalist. It's not really specialized in any one particular thing. It has good damage, it has decent bleed, an amazing ambush. It has good stamina, good health. Honestly, like I said, it's just a well-rounded creature. It plays a role in the big three, and I feel like it's a perfect counter to, let's say, the Carno. The relationship that all three of them should have ideally is like a rock paper scissors situation, where one beats the other and vice versa. So this beats this beats that type of thing. So the Aloe does a pretty good job of that. In terms of growing up, I would say that growing up is about C-, actually maybe a C+. It's a little bit easier than the Carno, so I would say C+ for growing up. But once you become a full-grown adult, it's fun to play like crazy. So I would say, I would say that for me, it's definitely a B- in terms of overall fun once you become an adult, because to me it's just such a well-rounded creature. So that's why I would rate it like that. But then you get to the worst of the three, the one that I think needs the most alterations, is the Cerrado. The Cerrado, to me, I have no idea why they would change it from its old model. This one here, this old model, this was the perfect version of the Cerrado. The one that we have today, for whatever reason, is a ballerina and can do turns non-stop. Like, this thing can outturn Utah's. It's practically on par with a Galley at this point. It's ridiculous how fast it can turn and how well it can turn. It basically, there's nothing that can compete with it. And then on top of that, it does decent damage, it's resistant to bleed. Its health is not as high as it used to be in the old model, but compared to the damage that it does, the bleed that it does, and the turn that it has, pretty much if it can outmaneuver you just one time and get behind you, you're dead. There's nothing you can do. This goes for Apexes, this goes for Aloes, this goes for Carnos, Utahs. It's just over if this thing can get to the side of you. There's no way you're gonna be able to keep up with it after that. Right, so the only thing that can give it a run for its money at that point is maybe a Suko, right, at best. But even then, it's gonna be a tough call, because it really just comes down to if the Suko can get a bite off first. But that's just how I feel. So when it comes to the Cerrado, growing up, definitely I would say is an F. It's growing up as a Cerrado is so brutal. From previous times that I've tried to grow up as a Cerrado, it's always been so harsh, always. Now, I don't know how it is nowadays, because I haven't recently tried to play it, but from what I remember, it's just the hunger drop is crazy. There's just, for me, I've never been able, like only twice have I ever been able to grow up as a full-grown adult Cerrado, and in both of those times I died within, I would say, an hour of being an adult. I've never got the chance to actually enjoy the creature for multiple days on end, like with other creatures like the Carno and Aloe. So to me, when it comes to fun overall, it's not like, to me it's just not a fun dino as an adult either. Like it's just kind of for fun, I would say D-, and for growing up it's an F tier, like easily F tier. It's not good. For me, I would alter so many things about it. For starters, I would make its turn rate slow. Not crazy slow, but I would bring it back to what it used to be in the old model. I would also make sure that its health goes up, but at the same time, I would decrease its overall base damage. I would keep the bleed damage the same, but decrease the base damage. Well, actually, no, that's a lie. For me, I would say that a Cerrado should be able to bite harder than the Aloe, but the Aloe should do more bleed than the Cerrado. Now, the Cerrado can keep its bleed resistance. I think that is fair. And it can keep its higher health. I think that's also fair. But the Aloe should be always faster, always have more stamina, and do more bleed overall. And the Cerrado, again, better damage and should have more health. I think, to me, that should be alright. Its ambush speed, I feel like, is alright too, so that can be left the same. But those other ones definitely need to be changed. I have no idea why they try to correct it. To me, there was nothing wrong with the old Cerrado. They should have left it as is. I felt like they just kind of overcorrected to the point that they created a problem that wasn't there now. So that's just how I feel about the big three. Let me know in the comments below how you guys feel about it. As I'm recording this video, it is so late at night and I'm so tired and stuff like that. It's been a busy day for me. So sorry if like some parts is like choppy like crazy. That's probably me cutting out all the like moments where I'm either ranting or kind of like dozing off a little bit. So yeah, I'm Moonlight F and I'm just looking out for you.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.